Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 15 of the Idiotic Sports Talk. I'm your host, Liam Gavin, coming to you live from my kitchen. So tonight is Game 1 of the NBA Finals between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Miami Heat. This will be the first time in NBA history that the finals will be played during a pandemic with no crowd in attendance. Let's see how this plays out because the crowds are what makes the NBA Finals so electric, so special, and just has that great vibe to it. Looking into this matchup, I think it's going to be very competitive between the Lakers and the Heat. You have the Lakers led by an all-time great in LeBron James, who's playing at an MVP level at the age 35. The Miami Heat are led by Jimmy Butler, who also has a lot of great players surrounding him. Each player is contributing to the team, stepping up and doing their part to make it that far to the finals. They're playing amazing basketball. They have great chemistry as well. I just think we're in for a thriller of a series. So let's take a look at the matchups between each team. Both of these teams on paper, they match up fairly well against each other. Both teams have a lot of talent in their starting five, and they have a lot of depth, especially in their bench, especially for the Heat. Both teams are also two of the best defensive teams in the league. One thing I have to say about Miami, they have so much talent, but one thing that they're lacking is LeBron James. They don't have LeBron James anymore. He used to play for them years ago. But they're missing a LeBron James that's hungry for his fourth title, and he's trying to cement himself as an all-time great. LeBron in his last series versus the Nuggets, he killed it. He had 27 points per game to go with 10.5 rebounds per game with 9 assists per game. Throughout these playoffs, he's averaged 26.7 points per game, 10.3 rebounds per game, and almost 9 assists per game. He's playing on another level right now, but not only is he the reason for the Lakers' success, there's also a guy named Anthony Davis. Last series against the Nuggets, AD averaged 31 points per game in that series, and throughout these playoffs, he's had close to 29 points per game, along with 9 rebounds per game in this postseason. He oddly and strangely averaged 9 rebounds per game last series against the Nuggets, which was really weird, but I expect him to average a double-double this series versus the Heat. Now, we know LeBron and Anthony Davis, they're going to eat regardless, but who's going to be that third consistent scorer for the Lakers? They've been having trouble with that. Is it going to be the guy Danny Green to step up? He's only averaging 8 points per game in this series. He hasn't shot the ball well at all. He's averaging 8 points per game throughout the playoffs and has not shot the ball well at all throughout the playoffs. I expected way more out of him. He's a 2-time champ, but this could be his bounce-back series. How about the bench players for the Lakers becoming more consistent scorers? There really is no debate. Miami has the better bench for sure. They have the better scorers and three-point shooters coming off their bench. So who's going to be the key bench guy for the Lakers? Is it going to be Kyle Kuzma to step up? He's averaging 10.5 points per game throughout this playoff series coming off the bench. But how about the other bench players such as Alex Caruso and Markieff Morris? They've gotten the Lakers a boost a couple times throughout the playoffs, but they need more consistency, especially when LeBron and Anthony Davis aren't playing at their best. But somebody I could see having an amazing series, a low-key good series in this finals is KCP, Kadavius Caldwell-Pope. He's averaging almost 10 points per game in this postseason and has shot the ball exceptionally well. I thought his last series versus the Nuggets was his best series he's had throughout the whole playoffs. But two players I expect to have a major impact are veterans Rajon Rondo and Dwight Howard. Rondo is averaging 9 points per game and 7 assists per game in the 10 games that he's played this postseason, while Dwight Howard is averaging 7 points per game and 5 rebounds per game in the 12 games he's played in this postseason. Although these players don't have a lot of minutes, the time they are given when they are put in the game off the bench is extremely valuable. But how about I stop talking about the Lakers and let's talk about the Heat. Jimmy Butler is going to have to continue his leadership throughout this series like he's done throughout the whole season. He's averaging 20.5 points per game this postseason and has played terrific defense. This is going to have to continue for Butler if the Heat want to become champions. Bam Adebayo has been a great player for the Heat this postseason. He's averaged 18.5 points per game along with 11.5 rebounds per game. And I can't wait to see him battle out with Anthony Davis down low in the post. Both guys are going to have their hands full all series long. Another sleeper for this Miami Heat team is Goran Dragic. He's averaging close to 21 points per game in the playoffs, and he's shooting well. I expect him to have a major impact in this series. Two guys that you can't forget about for the Heat are two of the best three-point shooters in the league, Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. Both of them have shot extremely well. Duncan Robinson slightly averaging over 11 points per game throughout the playoffs, while the 21-year-old rookie Tyler Hero is averaging 16.5 points per game throughout the playoffs while coming off the bench. These two continue to shoot as well as they do. Miami has a good chance to win this series. But when it comes to coaching, I think that there's no arguing that Erik Spoelstra is the better coach than Frank Vogel. Spoelstra has 2 championship rings as a head coach for the Miami Heat, while Frank Vogel searches for his first one. I think the championship experience is huge when it comes down to this series. The Heat head coach Erik Spoelstra has 2 rings as a coach. Andre Iguodala has 3 rings, and Udonis Haslem has 3 rings to his name too. And although he doesn't get any playing time, he could offer a lot of knowledge to his teammates and the younger guys on the team. As for the Lakers, they have a 3-time champ LeBron James, 2-time champion Danny Green, 2-time champion JaVale McGee, and a 1-time champion in Rajon Rondo. And even though these guys don't get any minutes, J.R. Smith and Quinn Cook also have a ring to their name as well. I think it is really important to have championship players on your team because they're the guys that have been there before, and they could preach to the younger guys about what it's like and what it takes to win a championship. So that's why I think players that have been to championships or won championships on one roster are always going to play a factor, no matter how good they play, because sometimes your brain is more powerful than the skills that they have. And here are a few interesting facts that I actually found out about this series. The first fact is that Andre Iguodala, this will be his 6th straight NBA Finals appearance. He had 5 trips to the finals with the Warriors, and now this is his first trip with the Miami Heat. The second fact is that both of these teams have each played 15 games during the postseason. Both have a 12-3 record in the postseason, and both teams have yet to see a Game 7. The Lakers beat all their opponents in 5 games, and the Heat's longest series was won in 6 games against the Boston Celtics. Fact number 3. This is the first time in NBA history that 2 teams who missed the playoffs last season will face each other in the NBA Finals. I thought that was pretty interesting. I never knew that it never happened before. Fact number 4, LeBron James will face his former team in the finals. LeBron played from the Heat from 2010 to 2014, so it's going to be pretty weird seeing him suit up against his former team. And fact number 5, this was a funny fact that I found out. Kyle Kuzma used to date an Instagram model that is now dating the Heat rookie Tyler Hero. Hero bought her to the bubble, so that's going to be very interesting when Kuzma and Hero have to guard each other, and she's going to be watching them both go at it. So, who wins this series? Does LeBron go 3-7 in the finals, or does he win a ring for the city of Los Angeles and the late, great Kobe Bryant? Or does the Miami Heat keep proving they're the underdogs they are and win their 4th championship in their franchise history? As a Celtics fan, I hope they both somehow lose. I don't want to see either team win because the Heat eliminated the Celtics, and if the Lakers win, they'll tie the Celtics in championships. And the Celtics and Lakers have a great rivalry. So I definitely don't want to see them win it, but I also don't want to see the Heat win. So I'm kind of stuck. But all bias aside, I do have the Lakers winning in 7 games. This is going to be like a heavyweight championship boxing match where these guys are just slugging it out and hitting each other. I think the Lakers take tonight's game in Game 1. I think the Heat take 2, Lakers 3, Heat 4, Lakers 5, Heat 6, and then the Lakers in 7. I think it's just going to go back and forth the entire time because that's how good these teams are. So that's it for today's episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram for a chance to win $100. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day.